Change. Everyone wants it. Few understand it, even fewer practice it. We imagine change as a grand event. A new job, a sudden fortune, a powerful breakthrough, yet life rarely bends in such dramatic ways. The Stoics knew this. They saw change not as a single storm but as the quiet erosion of stone by water, not one strike, but countless drops. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. No debate, no delay. Begin with action. Begin with habit. Because habit is not routine. Habit is character repeated. Habit is destiny practiced in small steps." Look at your own life. What do you repeat without noticing? The phone you reach for in the morning, the words you choose under stress, the silence you avoid at night. These are habits, and they shape you more than the choices you make once a year. A promotion may change your paycheck. A habit will change your mind. And once the mind shifts, the whole of life shifts with it. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." This is the secret of transformation. It is not hidden, it is not mysterious. It is daily. 7 habits, 7 acts, repeated every day, each one small enough to ignore, each one strong enough to bend the arc of a life. Consider this: if you choose one habit and live it each morning, the world may not notice, but you will. If you guard your mind once a day, the headlines may not change, but your inner calm will. Change is not loud, change is quiet. It is built in silence, it is revealed over time. This is why we begin here, not with theories, not with dreams, with habits. 7 everyday habits, each rooted in Stoic wisdom, each tested by time, each waiting for you. Stay with me, not to collect ideas, but to begin a quiet revolution, not out there, in here. Because transformation is not promised by fate, it is practiced by you. One habit, one day, again and again. The Stoic lens on habits. To the Stoics, habit was never a matter of convenience. It was a form of training. Training the mind, training the will, training the character. We live as we practice. If we practice distraction, we live scattered. If we practice anger, we live in chains. If we practice presence, we live with clarity. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." This is not advice for tomorrow, it is instruction for today. Define the self, then act in alignment. Not once, but again and again. Habits are not accidents. They are choices repeated until they become invisible. Each repetition lays a stone. One stone may not matter, but stone upon stone builds a wall. Stone upon stone builds a fortress. The mind is such a fortress, not built in a moment, not secured by one act of will, but constructed brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." How do we gain such power? Not by waiting, not by wishing, by practice. Habits are the practice. Each one is a small rehearsal for the life you claim to desire. Every act trains the soul in a certain direction. Look closely. Are your habits shaping you into who you intend to be, or into what you swore to resist? Consider anger. One outburst may seem harmless, but repeated it becomes a posture, a way of being. Likewise, one pause before speaking may seem small. Repeated it becomes patience. It becomes strength. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Habits are how we use it. Not in sudden bursts, but in steady rhythms. Not in rare moments, but in daily choices. The world often searches for great events to measure change. The Stoic looks at the ordinary. The morning routine, the words spoken at work, the silence held at night. These are the bricks. This is the architecture of the soul. You do not need dramatic revolutions. You need small repeated acts. This is why habit matters. It is not routine. It is not ritual. It is training. And training transforms. 7 habits. 7 bricks to begin the wall. Not to shut the world out, but to build a place where the mind stands unshaken. The 7 everyday habits. 1. Morning clarity. The first habit begins the moment you wake. Do not touch the phone. Do not dive into noise. Sit with yourself. 10 minutes. A page of writing. A quiet reflection. This is morning clarity, not a ritual for productivity, but a practice of ownership. If the first thing you do belongs to you, the day cannot fully belong to the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations at dawn, not for an audience, for himself, to order his mind before facing the empire. Your empire may be smaller, emails, deadlines, family duties, yet the principle is the same. The first voice you hear should not be headlines or messages. It should be your own. Write 1 paragraph. Ask what matters today. Ask how will I carry myself. This is not about control over events. It is control over posture, over the way you step into the day. The phone can wait. The noise will come. But the first 10 minutes are your fortress. Guard them. 2. Negative visualization. The second habit feels uncomfortable. Imagine losing what you hold. The job, the house, even the people. This is not pessimism. It is preparation. It is gratitude trained by loss. Seneca advised, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." To visualize loss is not to invite it. It is to soften its blow. It is to treasure what you still have. The American life is full of striving, more possessions, more upgrades, more plans, yet the more we cling, the more fragile we become. Try this. As you drive to work, imagine the car gone tomorrow. As you tuck your child into bed, imagine them grown and far away. As you hold your partner's hand, imagine it empty. Then return to the present. The car still runs, the child still laughs, the hand still holds. This practice frees you, because you no longer live blind to loss. You live aware, and awareness becomes gratitude. 3. Voluntary discomfort. The third habit is to step into what others avoid, not recklessly, but deliberately. Choose a small discomfort. Take a cold shower. Walk when you could drive. Skip 1 meal. Why? Because comfort breeds weakness, and weakness breaks at the first sign of strain. Epictetus reminded his students, difficulties show a person's character. If life will test you, and it will better to train before the exam. In modern America, comfort is everywhere. Temperature controlled, food delivered, entertainment endless. But resilience cannot be shipped to your door. It must be built. Voluntary discomfort does not make you miserable. It makes you free. If you can bear cold water, you can bear harsh words. If you can skip a meal, you can skip an impulse. If you can walk when tired, you can stand when challenged. Try 1 practice each week. Notice the body resist. Notice the mind complain. Then notice the self remain standing. Discomfort is not punishment, it is exercise. And every exercise makes the soul less fragile. 4. Pause before response. The fourth habit is silence before speech. When tension rises, do not rush. Pause. 3 seconds. Breathe. Then answer. It feels small, but in those 3 seconds anger cools, impulses weaken, clarity emerges. Epictetus taught, if someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Simply reply, he did not know the rest of my faults, else he would not have mentioned only these. Patience disarms pride. Delay disarms anger. In American life, speed is worshipped. Fast replies, fast texts, fast decisions. But speed often serves ego, not wisdom. At work, one careless reply can poison trust. At home, one harsh word can wound deeply. The pause protects both. Practice this today. Before you hit send, before you raise your voice, count 3. In silence, strength is born. 5. Daily service. The 5th habit is simple. Serve without expecting return. One act each day. Small, unseen, unrecorded. Hold the door. Send a kind message. Help a colleague quietly. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them or bear with them. To serve is not to lower yourself. It is to live aligned with nature. The hand serves the body, the citizen serves the whole. In a culture obsessed with credit, service without recognition is rare. But it is powerful, because it frees you from transaction. It reminds you that virtue is its own reward. Try this, offer help today, and speak of it to no one. Notice how light you feel, because the act was pure. Daily service is not about others owing you. It is about you owing yourself a life of integrity. 6. Evening review. The 6th habit comes at day's end. Sit with paper. Write 2 things: what you did well and what you need to improve. No judgment, just observation. Seneca described this practice. When the lamp is out and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I have done and said. I hide nothing from myself. I pass nothing by. Reflection is not self-punishment, it is self-knowledge. And knowledge prepares tomorrow. In the modern world, nights are noisy. Screens glow, messages ping, sleep is postponed. We fall unconscious without awareness. The evening review breaks this cycle. It slows you, it shows you. At work, note the one meeting you handled with patience. At home, note the one argument you mishandled. Both are lessons. Both belong on the page. This habit does not demand perfection, it demands honesty. And honesty is the seed of growth. 7. Guarding attention. The final habit is defense of the mind. Attention is the gate. If you guard it, the mind stays steady. If you neglect it, the mind is invaded. Marcus Aurelius warned, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. What colors your mind each day? News cycles of outrage, feeds of comparison, screens without end. The American world thrives on distraction. Attention is sold. Focus is fractured. But the Stoic trains differently. He chooses his diet of thought as carefully as his diet of food. Limit the scroll. Silence the unnecessary. Read what strengthens. Listen to what clarifies. Speak to those who steady you. Guarding attention is not withdrawal. It is discipline. It means saying no, often so you can say yes wisely. Try this. Set 1 hour free from screens each evening. Use it for a walk, for a book, for silence. Notice how the mind clears. Your attention is your life. Protect it, and you protect everything. The transformation unfolds. Change does not arrive all at once. It reveals itself slowly, like dawn breaking over a dark horizon. Practice the 7 habits and something subtle shifts. You stop living by reaction. You begin to live with intention. The phone buzzes. Before you reached without thought. Now you pause. You choose. A harsh word comes. Before anger surged unchecked. Now silence enters. Patience grows. The day ends. Before you collapsed into distraction. Now you reflect. You see yourself clearly. These are not small victories. They are the roots of transformation. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." The habits teach you how, not by adding hours but by redeeming the hours already given. Most people are carried like leaves in the wind. News, moods, opinions, each gust decides their course. The Stoic trains differently. He does not drift. He steers. He becomes the architect of his own life. Think of an architect. Every detail matters, each line drawn with purpose. Walls do not rise by accident. They follow design. Your life is the same. Each habit, a line. Each choice, a brick. Day by day, the structure takes form. At first, it may seem fragile, but with repetition, the foundation deepens. The walls strengthen. The roof holds. And in time, you find yourself dwelling in a mind you trust, a home that no storm can easily shake. This is transformation. Not dramatic, not sudden, but steady. Not a life lived by accident, a life lived by design. The quiet revolution. We began with a paradox. Everyone seeks to change their life, yet true change rarely comes through grand events. It comes through small choices repeated until they form the shape of a soul. The 7 habits are not commands. They are invitations. Invitations to live with clarity, with discipline, with calm strength. You do not need to practice them all at once. In fact, you should not. The Stoics did not chase excess. They practiced measure. They trained one step at a time. So begin with 1. This week, choose a single habit. Write each morning, or pause before you respond, or reflect before sleep. Just 1. Practice it daily. Watch how a small act shapes a larger self. Because change is not built on ambition. It is built on repetition. Not in a rush, but in rhythm. Not in dreams, but in deeds. Marcus Aurelius did not write his meditations in a single day. He wrote them line by line, page by page, habit by habit, until his thoughts became his nature. So it is with you. Each act plants a seed. Each repetition waters it. In time, the garden grows, and you discover that transformation was never sudden. It was always cultivated. The Stoic does not wait for transformation. He practices it, again and again, until transformation becomes his way of being. This is the quiet revolution. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady, unshaken. Not the world remade in a day, but the self remade one choice at a time,